Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a little bit of a different video for you. I've been wanting to do this for a while and I finally got my crap together to plan it all out. But I've been watching, like, I don't know what the titles are, what it's called, but like $25, that's not the right word, like $5 dinners. So like 5 meals for $25, like a low spend, frugal meal plan for 5 dinners. And I wanted to see if I could challenge myself to just make it a little bit healthier. Most of the videos that I was watching was using like white rice and white pasta and that sort of thing, and I just wanted to challenge myself to see if I could make it a little bit healthier but still provide enough food for my family for $5 dinners. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do. I'm going to go to Walmart and Aldi. Those are the 2 best prices I can get on stuff. I'm going to start at Aldi because I think it's a little bit cheaper than Walmart. And I actually have all the ingredients listed that I need in my Walmart app right now so that I can price compare at Aldi to make sure I'm getting the best deal. So that's what I'm headed off to do right now. It's just going to be a short little grocery haul, and then I will show you what meals I make with those ingredients. Got done with Aldi. Here is my receipt. I spent $19.18. I just have 3 things left to get at Walmart, but one of them is a meat item. So that leaves me with just under $6 to spend. So it's gonna be close. I really need these 3 items. And then there's an additional item that would just make stuff a lot better if I could fit it in, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to fit it in. So let's go get those 3 things and then let's get home and cooking these meals. Okay, I made it back from the store. I ran into a little bit of difficulty in Walmart. They did not have the ground pork, which is what I was looking for. But I actually remembered that I had one at home in the freezer, which is this, it's from Walmart. And so I'm just gonna use that, and then I looked up on my app how much it would have cost me, and that's how I got my total. So if you would run into that at the store, I probably would have gotten just some, I like ground turkey, but the pork just gives a much better flavor and it's like a higher fat content. So you could have gone with like a ground chuck or something, or like the fattier ground turkey would work for both of these recipes as well. So before I tell you my total, let me show you what the recipes that we're gonna make. All right, we are going to make egg roll in a bowl. So we're gonna use half of this cabbage, we're gonna use half of the ground pork, we're gonna shred up carrots, and we are going to use soy sauce, half of the onion. The other ingredient I really wanted to get was sesame oil because it just gives it a really nice flavor, but that's okay. If you wanted to spend an extra $2 or $3, you could put sesame oil in there as well, which I probably will do because I already have some in the cabinet, but you don't have to. Then we're gonna do pork lettuce wraps, which is going to be, oh, and the egg roll in a bowl is, I got quinoa to use as like our grain. And so the egg roll in a bowl, you can mix some quinoa into that or put the egg roll in a bowl over the quinoa, which is delicious. So then we're gonna do pork lettuce wraps. We're gonna take half of this, we're gonna take a little bit of the onion, some more shredded carrots, and soy sauce, and we're gonna make a really flavorful filling to put in some lettuce cups for dinner. We are making quinoa dip with chips. I make this quite often. It just has a few ingredients: salsa, black beans, quinoa, a little bit of shredded cheese, and then we serve it with chips. Then we're gonna do pulled chicken with coleslaw and quinoa. So I got this 3-pound bag of frozen chicken. The fresh chicken was actually less per pound, but I couldn't find a package small enough. This, I think, was 5 something. So we're gonna do a little bit more than half of it for the pulled chicken, which is what the barbecue sauce is for. We'll use the other half of the cabbage for coleslaw. And I don't have mayonnaise here because I figured people probably have mayonnaise already in their refrigerator, but I'm actually gonna do just an oil, vinegar, herb dressing with the leftover onion, and it's delicious. It's very refreshing. And then whatever quinoa is left, we will have with that as well. And then chicken nachos, and we will use the rest of the lettuce to have shredded lettuce, the rest of the cheese, the rest of the salsa to have on top of the other bag of chips for chicken nachos. Okay, I am going to start by getting the whole bag of frozen chicken breasts cooking in my Instapot. And a little hack, I'm gonna make my own chicken broth while it's cooking, so I'm gonna add a little extra water than it calls for, and I'm gonna season up the chicken breast really well with salt, pepper, garlic. That's another thing. I'm assuming that people have salt, pepper, oil, and some sort of seasoning. If you don't have garlic powder, garlic salt, you can use whatever seasoning you have in this to make it more flavorful. We're gonna collect the broth at the end when it's done, strain it out, and we're gonna use that as some of the water to cook the quinoa in, just to give it a little bit more flavor. So let's get that started, and then we'll move on to chopping all the veggies. Put the whole bag of frozen chicken in here, garlic, salt, and pepper. So, and 2 cups of water at the bottom. So now all I'm gonna do is push the poultry button and let it go. You can see the mountain of cabbage that one had made. I just finely like shredded it. So this is gonna be for the egg roll in a bowl, and this I'm gonna save to make that coleslaw with. So now I'm gonna shred up all the carrots because I don't think I need chunks of carrots for anything. It's just all gonna be shredded, and also thinly slice the onion. Okay, got all the onion chopped. That's a strong one. I thinly sliced like 3/4 of it, and then like 1/4 of it I left chopped up for the pork lettuce wraps. So give me all your tips for not making you cry when you do onions. I've never found anything that works for me. All right, we're gonna get these onions taken care of because they're like killing me. This is the coleslaw. So this is actually dried dill that I have left over from my garden about 2 years ago, I think. I had a lot of dill that year. So I'm just gonna sprinkle on this dried dill. You could really use, I like dill a lot. You could use whatever herbs that you want, or you could just do salt and pepper. Then we're gonna do quite a bit of salt. I would say probably at least a teaspoon, maybe more. Then any oil that you have, my favorite happens to be avocado oil. Equal parts oil, and I like white vinegar. You could use apple cider vinegar, white wine vinegar, whatever you have, but I'm going to use these 2 equal parts. All right, now I'm just gonna toss it really, really good. And then I will decide if I need any more oil and vinegar. This is looking pretty good. I did about 1/4 cup and 1/4 cup. This is looking pretty good. I might do just a titch more. And this gets better the longer it sits in the refrigerator. So I like to do it at least like 12 hours in advance, because then it kind of breaks down the cabbage. And it's just a really refreshing slaw that goes with a lot of stuff. If you don't like this kind of slaw and you have mayo in your fridge, then you could use some of the shredded carrots that'll be left over, and you could just make yourself a traditional mayonnaise coleslaw. This actually looks pretty good. I think I'm gonna leave it as is. Let's get these carrots all peeled and shredded up. And then I have the chopped up onion and half of the pork in this pot and half of the pork in this pot. This one is for egg roll in a bowl, which this whole pile will get added to as soon as the pork gets going. I forgot to mention, oh, and now you get to see my makeup smeared all over my face because those onions made me cry. I forgot to mention my pork back there. One of the reasons I like to get ground pork is that you get 1.5 pounds, so 24 ounces for like $4.50, and lots of places you can't find 1 pound of ground beef for $4.50. So you're getting 3/4 pound for each recipe, plus it has really a lot of fat in it. And I'm not going to drain either one of these because I want that fat in there to mix, especially for the egg roll in the bowl, to help wilt down the cabbage and the onion. I might drain a little bit of the pork lettuce wrap filling, but we'll see how it does at the very end. The carrots have been added and this has been peppered. So now I am just going to add some garlic powder and some soy sauce. And this is really just sort of, soy sauce is pretty salty, so you don't want to overdo it. So I just kind of go like that, and then you can taste as you go. Oops, skimming up the camera. And then just because I have it in the cupboard and it tastes good, I'm going to use a little sesame oil. Gives it a nice flavor. It is pretty strong though, so you gotta be careful. Then I'm going to toss this around with the carrots cook. And this is about ready. Almost ready. I'm probably going to add a little bit more soy sauce. And then this will be ready to mix with some quinoa. Alright, we are ready to finish up the pork lettuce wraps. So far it's just the onion, the pork, and then I just put the shredded carrots in there. I'm gonna season it up with some pepper, garlic powder again, soy sauce, and sesame oil since I have it. But then I am just gonna look in my spice cabinet for anything Asian. So like coriander is a good one. It's like a good sort of cilantro flavor. What else do I have that's like Asian? I don't think turmeric will work. Oh, ginger. Ginger would work nicely. So again, just pull out whatever spices you have. Even if you only have garlic, salt and pepper, it will be fine as well. Our chicken is done, and has been done actually for 10 minutes. So this is the part I dislike the most about the pressure cooker, and especially the Instapot in general, is that it makes a big old mess when you let the steam out. Alright, this is perfect. This is what you're looking for. You want it to really shred apart really nice and easy. So I'm just going to take these out, put them on a cutting board, and then we will strain the liquid and get the quinoa cooking. Before I strain it, I just want to show you all of that is lots of yummy flavor that's going to make the quinoa taste really good. Alright, so by adding 2 cups of liquid, we got about 4.5 cups of chicken broth out just from the natural juices from the chicken and such. I'm going to pour just a little bit back in the bottom of this pan, and that's so I can shred the chicken nachos chicken up and add some seasonings to it, and so a little bit of liquid will help the seasonings bind all together with the chicken. If you have never cooked quinoa before, it's actually like a seed, and you have to rinse it before you cook it so it doesn't taste bitter. So it says rinse quinoa, and then it is basically half a cup of quinoa to 1 cup of water. So you do cook it just like rice. Bring it to a boil, reduce and cover, and then let it sit. So you literally cook it just like rice. I'm gonna do this whole entire package because we're gonna have it with multiple meals. And so I will figure out how much liquid we want, but I'm gonna rinse this whole bag. Okay, it ended up being, I needed 5.5 cups of liquid. And so I did the chicken broth, and then which ended up being about 4 cups, and then I added 1.5 cups of water. So now I will just put the lid on this, bring it to a boil, and then reduce heat to low once it is boiling, and then cook it for about 15-20 minutes. Here is the shredded chicken for the barbecued pulled chicken. Quite a bit actually, if you think about like 5 of us getting a nice portion, along with having coleslaw and other things with it. I have opened the can of beans and drained and rinsed them for the quinoa dip. And actually my family prefers less beans in their dip. And so I am actually gonna add a couple of spoonfuls to my chicken for the chicken nachos just to beef that up a little bit more. All right, just like we did with the pork lettuce wraps, you're gonna pull out all the Mexican spices that you have in your cupboard. I happen to have like homemade taco seasoning already all mixed up, but you can use cumin, chili powder, garlic powder, onion powder, oregano, really whatever you have that will give it a little bit of flavor. Again, if you only have garlic powder and salt and pepper, it'll be fine. So I'm just sprinkling that, and because we have that liquid, that little bit of chicken broth in the bottom, it'll help it mix all together. And then this is ready to just be boxed up, and when it is dinner time, I will spread probably almost an entire bag of chips on a sheet pan. We will top it with the meat, and then top the whole thing with cheese. And then we will have leftover salsa, and we will have shredded lettuce to go with it. And it's a very filling, easy dinner. Or lunch, actually. We have it for lunch quite a bit. All right, we're getting to the end. I have about half of the beans in this bowl. I've got maybe 1/2 cup of cheese. It's not a whole lot that you put in the quinoa dip. The rest I shredded up because you need quite a bit of cheese for the nachos. So the majority of the cheese goes in the nachos. Then we're gonna start with 1/2 cup of salsa and see where we end up. All right, I have that little bit of cheese. I have 1/2 cup of salsa in here, and I have 3 cups of cooked quinoa in here so far. And I do know that we will be adding, we're gonna add some more, probably at least another 1/2 cup of salsa, salt and pepper. Okay, I'm finished. Took me about 2.5 hours, but that was with trying to film it all too, which does take some extra time. So I think you could easily do this in under 2 hours. So let me show you. I tried to group stuff together, how you'll eat it as meals, and then I will tell you if I made my $25 goal or not. All right, here is our first meal, which is quinoa dip. This is a huge bowl of dip. So quinoa is just it has a lot of protein in it. We've got the cheese in there, the beans, the salsa. You're probably not gonna use this whole bag of chips. Maybe you will. We have a family of 5. We eat like about 4.5 adults. That's sort of the amount of food that we consume. So this is very filling. We will oftentimes do this for lunch, but we've also done it for dinner. If you are wanting to put something on the side and you have fruit in the house, fruit goes really well with that. Our next one is our chicken nachos. So here is the cheese, here is the shredded lettuce, and I have some paper towel, and I will just store it upside down like that. Here is the chicken with the beans and the seasonings. You will have leftover salsa. And here are the chips. Now again, you're probably not gonna go through 2 bags of chips. So another great thing that you could do, skipping over here to the pork lettuce wraps. So before I shredded that chicken, I pulled off some like big pieces of lettuce, and I would cut those in half. This is your filling for it. There's plenty of quinoa here. You could add quinoa to it. You could also, because Jericho does not really like egg roll in a bowl or this, we oftentimes will let him take tortilla chips and use it like dip. So you could do that. You could even serve chips and salsa on the side if you're wanting something else. But here's the egg roll in a bowl. It's a nice big bowl. And we have quinoa for days, basically. So you can put quinoa with any of these meals and you will have plenty. So there's some to go with that. Like I said, here's the egg roll, or the pork lettuce wraps. Again, huge thing of quinoa left. Here is our barbecued pulled chicken. And I can already tell this is like wilting down nicely, so that is just a really nice, delicious coleslaw to go with it. You will have barbecue sauce left, and so I was thinking if you're like a saucy person, you could absolutely put a squirt of barbecue sauce on top of the pork lettuce wraps, and that would probably be absolutely delicious. I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it, and if you don't enjoy it or you're not gonna make it, that's fine, because now I have 5 dinners for my family, all prepared. My dishwasher's going. I have a few dishes to finish up, but then the majority of them are done. One other thing I wanted to mention, so let's say you have a bigger family than I do, you could easily double these recipes just by 2 of everything, probably, except the barbecue sauce and the salsa and the soy sauce. You would have enough of all of those ingredients left over to double these. Then maybe you could add some fruit on the side or something like that. But you could double it, and even $10 a meal for a large family dinner is still very, very economical. So there's that. And then also, let's say you want to prepare all this, but you don't think you're going to get to it within the 5 days. All of this stuff, probably minus the coleslaw, I would probably eat the coleslaw and the pork barbecue, or the chicken barbecue first, egg roll in a bowl first. Anything that has like wilty stuff I would eat first. But you can absolutely put these containers of quinoa in the freezer. You can put the chicken in the freezer. You can put the chicken nacho filling in the freezer. Be perfectly fine. You'll just thaw it out and use it whenever you want to. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I didn't forget, my total was $25.05. So I'm pretty proud of myself. It was very hard to stick to $25, and again, everyone's idea of like healthy is different, but there's some really good proteins in here. There's no white pasta, no white rice. Probably the worst thing are the chips, which if you want to come up with a healthier option for the chips, go for it. Obviously, I don't love the sugar in barbecue sauce, but that's okay. So everything in moderation. Okay, is that everything I wanted to say? One more thing. We don't have tax on our food in Michigan. Don't get me wrong. Michigan screws us over in many other ways, but it's not with our food tax. So if you get taxed on your food, obviously your budget is gonna be higher. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.